sequels can be just as good, so before I begin with this post, I want to remind you that this post is just one in a multiple part series. If you like what you see, be sure to go back and look at the previous entries, and if you're watching this in the future, be sure to look at the next couple of entries as well. Agency is simply more information that can be explained in a single post. This is the Terms, Tips, and Tricks for Real Estate, episode 131, Working with a Real Estate Agent, and it's part 2 in a 5-part series. In an effort to protect the general public and their interests when working with a real estate agent, regardless of who that agent works for, all agents are required to present information to potential clients and customers explaining their rights. This can often feel like the agent is shoving paperwork at a potential buyer or seller, but in actuality, this is really a good process. You should know from the very beginning who the agent is working for and whose interests they are protecting, which side of the deal they are trying to progress. There are two sides to every real estate transaction: a buyer and a seller. It's pretty straightforward. When you are working with a real estate agent, the agent is likely working for one side or the other, and it should be made obvious who the agent is obligated to. A buyer's agent has the best interest of the buyer at heart. The buyer's agent should want to get the best deal for the buyer. A seller's agent or the listing agent is working on behalf of the seller and should be doing all they can to ensure the deal is in the best interest of that seller. The Working with a Real Estate Agent brochure and form was recently revised by the North Carolina Real Estate Commission. The new form is much more straightforward, and any member of the public that has presented this form should now have a much easier time interpreting it, but I still get questions on what the form is obligating the client to, and I want to be as clear as I can here and in real life. Nothing. The form obligates you to nothing. Do not be intimidated. It's just an agent's way of documenting they have presented the information to you. A buyer dealing with the listing agent is a very different conversation when the buyer is talking with their own agent. An agent is obligated to disclose any information they have to their client that may help their client make a better decision. If a buyer tells the listing agent how much they love the house and how much they would pay above asking to get it, it's a very important piece of advice for the seller to have. Most agents are good, upstanding people, and the conversations they have with the other side aren't typically done to dig for more information. It's important to realize that any information disclosed to the other side can be used against you and when negotiations begin. Regardless of what side an agent is working, all agents need to be honest. To lie could be considered misinterpretation. North Carolina is a buyer beware state, but the agent can never intentionally or unintentionally mislead a buyer or seller. It's unethical and should be taken very seriously. Both agents should be honest, but only your agent owes you loyalty. This post is not only a part of a series, but there are many topics I have already covered. I love the educational process I take my clients on, and I hope as you're watching these posts, you begin to feel empowered with information. This info should give you the ability to make informed and educated decisions, which I hope will naturally lead you to your next home. If there are ever specific topics you want me to cover or explain, I hope you'll ask. If you find value, there are plenty of ways you can share this and share this video as well as my other posts and videos with your friends and family. Until next time, I'm Chris Whitehurst. Welcome home.